Today I'm out near Bayswater Station again. I'm going to have a look at another safe active path. So right now I'm on the principal shared path which goes from Perth CBD out to Midland and Guildford. But somewhere along here, I'm going to turn off to my right, that way. Remembering the camera is mirrored, I'll be heading away from the railway line, which is on that side, and hopefully going down to the river. Now, I recently did one on a safe active street on the other side of the railway line. I think it's called May Street. And when I was reading the evaluation report afterwards, the Department of Transport did last year, I discovered there was actually another section to it on the other side of the railway line, which I never knew existed. So I'm going to do a bit of exploring today and try and find it. Now, what do we got here? So on that side, we've got the new viaduct that's going in front of the railway line. It's part of the MetroNet project, where they're raising the railway line and running it across the roads where there used to be level crossings. On my right over there, there's a footy oval. I wonder if the safe active street provides connectivity to that. Maybe not. I've actually got no idea where it is. Now, I'm looking up that street there that I just went past. There's lots of speed humps. Doesn't look like a safe active street though. Didn't have the big blue pavement marking at the start of it, which usually indicates a safe active street. There's another one here. It's got red asphalt. Yes, okay. Unfortunately, I'll just show you. It's over there. It's on the other side of those railings. Can't jump down there, can I? All right. Now I know I can just jump off here. There's a kind of unmarked exit from the principal shared path. We'll see how easy it is to get across to that safe active street. Now obviously they don't want you crossing here. It's fair enough. There's a bit of a drop off there. A bit of wind today, so we'll see how the microphone handles that. I might have to slow down a bit in places. Okay, there's some sort of crossing here. That island doesn't seem to be tremendously wide, but I've made it. Okay, here we are. This is, I've got no idea what the street is called. Right, 30 kilometres an hour. Typical thing they've done overall, they've left this part of the road as black asphalt or grey asphalt, old asphalt for parking, and then they've laid down new red asphalt, and they've got these kinks, all these islands in it. So you can see, at the moment they've got parking over there, caravan, etc. We'll go through the kink, and then the parking shifts to the other side of the street, and that I think helps slow things down. Right, school zone. That blue marker is looking pretty faded, needs repainting. I guess that's a raised platform, doesn't feel like it. The Bayswater Primary School. We're going to keep an eye out for parking. Now, notice this is a dead-end street for drivers. I wonder if they did this as part of it, because you know that would just cut out a humongous amount of through traffic. It's actually some posters up at the school here. Safe routes to school. If I remember, I'll take some photos of that on the way back. Oh, it's Leake Street. Leaked. Right, slightly raised platform. Gives big safe active street marker. Looks like an abandoned car. Bit of yellow paint over there, so it's no stopping. They'll probably have a lot of trouble with parents pulling up there. School pick up and drop off. Big blue sign, again it's getting faded. Now, reasonably steep hill this one. I'll be talking on the way back up it. Now this intersection, Man Hob, very slightly raised. Hope the wind's not too noisy. Interesting along here, they haven't done the kinks, and I guess that's maybe because of driveways, maybe because of that road placement. Don't quite know why, but there's a fairly long distance there between the kinks. And what we do know from the evaluation reports is if you have these sort of slow strips every 80 to 100 metres, that dramatically drops the car speeds down and also reduces the amount of traffic using that section of the road. Now, how do I get across here? Oh, well, don't know, and it's a fairly busy street. Look, thankfully there's this traffic lights up here. I'll try this. And the footpath is red, which I guess gives some indication it's designed as a shared path. I don't know if I'm on the right track or not, but you know, what the hell. I guess when traffic's a bit lighter this wouldn't be too bad, but there's not a heck of a lot of gaps where I could really get across, and those islands in the middle aren't really that wide. If I was going to pull up in the middle there, I'd have to pull up sideways or diagonally, otherwise I'd have one of my wheels poking out front or rear, or even both. A good way to get hit by a passing truck. It's getting a bit overgrown along here. Watch the head on the foliage. Okay, here we are again. Now, yeah, I really scratched my head at that one. I guess I did the right thing. Not the greatest crossing for cyclists, etc., for kids, but maybe worth it. I'm just going to show you the view from a side street. Sorry, that was just a bit windy. So when we come up to this street, there's a raised platform, there's this kind of not shark's teeth, whatever it is, and a big yellow pavement marking for bicycles. Now I guess also closing the street off at that end has dramatically reduced traffic here, because you're not going to have people turning in from our main road and going up and down the street. Now, this is probably not a bad view from up here, where you can see the back and forth of and where they don't have a kink, then they've got pretty much a full width. Oh yeah, that's a reasonably meaty speed bump. That one, it's not some gentle little thing. Hit that a bit hard, you'll know about it. Okay, again, nice big blue pavement marking, slightly raised platform. This is not the vertical lift, or whatever you want to call it, slope going onto these platforms. There's nothing as bad as going over a speed hump, but you know, it's just a little bit there. It's probably, I don't know, maybe that high. Is that sufficient to slow the drivers down? I don't know. That one, that's a bit harder. Okay, then they divide the road going over the hill here, but it's a no-through road. So what do we have on the other side of this hill? Okay. Where the hell am I? I guess that's, I think I know where I am now, in fact. You know what? I have ridden along here through this park at least a couple of dozen times, and I had absolutely no idea that street was there. So you've got this nice big park at the end of it, you've got the water down there, you've got a big playground over there, barbecues, all that kind of stuff. You know, it really is the perfect kind of place for you know, families to come down to. So yeah, quite interesting that they've anchored the street where they've got a park and waterfront at one end and then a kind of school at the other. And then you might have noticed it's just purely residential streets up here. There's no shopping, there's no offices. Didn't even see a church. I'll have a close look on the way back and see if there's anything that isn't residential. But I don't remember seeing anything on the way through. So it's not like there's a lot of attractors in this street that are going to bring in outsiders, shopping, businesses, that kind of stuff. It's just a place that residents come back to in the evening after work or whatever. Apart from the school and stuff, it doesn't really have destinations. Parkland Village. I wonder if that's like a retirement village there. So if so, it's a nice thing for people in a retirement village to just pop it down the streets of the waterfront down the bottom there. You might say, well, how could they do that? Easy, electric tricycle or mobility scooter. And yes, interestingly enough, when I've been riding around there in the past, I have seen a number of people on mobility scooters. And I've wondered where they've come from and what they're doing down there. Well, the street might actually provide the answer to that, because it's not just about getting little kiddies to school safely, it's also about getting older people a bit of mobility and the ability to get around. Alright, here we are, just crossing again. So the only commercial stuff I can see around here is BJ's Deli on the other side of the road there. Delis have a different meaning in Western Australia to the eastern states. I think deli... Sorry. When I think deli in Sydney, I think of an Italian delicatessen where they're going to be selling 50 different varieties of gourmet dried pasta from Italy, and 17 different types of ham and jamon from Spain, and all that kind of good stuff. The old Paul's delicatessen in central 5 Block. Whereas in Perth, it's more of a corner shop. So it's the kind of place kids go to get an ice cream, or it's where, in the old days before supermarket deregulation, and all the supermarkets kind of closed at 5 o'clock at night. If you wanted anything after hours, bread, milk, etc., you'd go to the deli. There were corner delis all over the place. Not surviving so well these days. I guess they've all been killed off by 7-Elevens at petrol stations and things like that. Well, I guess the 7-Eleven at a petrol station is the modern equivalent of what the deli once provided. Newspapers and crummy food and milk and bread if you need it. Okay, going back the other way. It's all looking very residential. And have they narrowed the street? As far as I can tell, no. And the way I think about that is I look at two things. Firstly, the driveway crossovers. Driveway crossover being a section of the driveway that goes across the council verge. And they're all old. So they clearly haven't been extended, like I've seen done in other places. And the curbs all look really old and crummy too. If they'd adjusted the street width, they would have redone the curbs and the crossovers. But they've apparently narrowed the street simply by the judicious use of some red asphalt, some white line marking paint, and a couple of islands with trees on them. So, like I said, just by putting in those kinks and slewing the traffic from side to side, and not just providing a great long drag strip like Caranto Street in Wareemba being an absolute classic. You know, we lived on that, and you know, people would fly up and down there well over 100 kilometres an hour at times because it was massively wide, dead straight, so people would leave the cafe in the corner, you know, in a Ferrari or whatever, and then just plant it and go tearing it up past our place at, you know, full throttle. You can't do that on a street like this because, you know, they've put all these kinks in at 80-metre intervals or so, and narrowed it quite a bit and cut the sight lines. That's possibly quite effective. Anyway, the Department of Transport has put up evaluation reports. You can put a link to them, you can go and read them. And so we'll just about missed the entrance there to get across the road. Not off to the deli to get themselves something. Yeah, anyway, I'll put up a link to the evaluation report. You can have a read of it. That's her. Yeah, it looks okay. Anyway, I'm going to pull into Bayswater. Hopefully this espresso coffee place is open. I'll be able to get myself a coffee and something to eat. Anyway, until next time.